Combine Fighter 11 with War Cleric 1 and you got yourself a real killing machine. Up to 7 attacks in a single turn just with class actions alone is not only incredibly powerful but also super fun to play. A high-level overview of this build and all other builds from me can be found in the description below. The sheet includes a quick breakdown of all the choices and important unlocks from level 1 to level 12. If you like this type of content, please consider subscribing to help us reach that magical number of 1000 subscribers. As always in my builds, I leave race and background to personal preference. They usually do not matter a lot, and without focusing on these two minor aspects, the build is more easily applied to both custom characters and existing companions. At level 1, Fighter gets Second Wind, which can be useful sometimes. Health potions usually aren't hard to come by though, and can provide more HPs for the same bonus action cost. More importantly at this level is the fighting style. There are 6 choices in total. Archery favors a ranged approach. Good builds for that are possible, but today I'm focusing on something more melee heavy. Defense is a solid armor class boost for more survivability, but I wouldn't pick it here now personally. Depending on the exact weapons, a good dueling build might be possible, but a great weapon build is still better in my opinion. Great weapon fighting is good to increase the damage I deal on average by getting rid of some of the lower rolls. Protection could work in a support and tank oriented build, but the typical tank playstyle, known from MMOs for example, doesn't really exist in BG3 due to the Dungeons & Dragons rule set. To weapon fighting boost dual wielding builds, which is not the way to go for me today. So overall, it is an easy choice with great weapon fighting here. When it comes to the abilities, strength is clearly the important thing here, which is why I'm pushing it to 16 right away. Next up is Constitution to 16 as well, in order to provide enough survivability in the midst of battle. Dexterity, I increased to 14. This gives me a +2 bonus modifier, which is the maximum that still gets applied to armor class when wearing medium armor. Also, it increases my initiative, which means I can go earlier during battle. Another important thing. The remaining points are more or less free to allocate. Personally, I keep intelligence and charisma at 8 and push wisdom to 12 to improve my saving throws against some of the nasty spells in the game. Proficiencies are more or less up to personal preference and also dependent on the final choice of race and background. I would try to get a bonus to athletics and/or acrobatics though, in order to improve resistance against being shoved. At level 2, I get a health boost, which is true for every level. I also get Action Surge, a powerful class action that allows me to unlock additional actions during a particular turn. At level 3, I can pick a subclass from 3 different options. Battle Master allows me to pick from a variety of maneuvers that open up different options during battle. Eldritch Knight adds spellcasting to my arsenal. And Champion is the most straightforward one to play by simply lowering the requirement for critical hits. Personally, I'm choosing Battle Master here. The maneuvers allow for a range of different ways to improve my battle prowess, and the extra damage on demand is a welcome addition as well. Commander Strike can be interesting in a melee-heavy group, where it's more likely to have a melee-focused ally close to an enemy. Disarming Attack is great against enemies that actually hold weapons. Some powerful enemies become almost trivial without their main weapon in hand. Distracting Strike is a good way of supporting other damage-focused allies, because they are more likely to attack successfully. Evasive Footwork gives a bit more survivability, but personally I do prefer the damage-focused maneuvers here. Feinting Attack is a no-go in this build, because it uses up the bonus action that I need for my extra attacks via the Great Weapon Master feat as of next level. Goading Attack is great to keep enemies focused on my character. It helps protect my allies, and it synergizes to some degree with Riposte, because I'm getting attacked more often. Maneuvering Attack is a powerful way of granting additional movement speed to an ally, and more importantly, to allow the ally to move away from enemies without causing opportunity attacks. Especially ranged characters can benefit here by getting rid of the threatened status effect. Menacing Attack is definitely a viable choice because of the possibility of applying Frightened. Preventing an enemy from moving is on its own already a quite powerful effect, let alone the added benefits. Precision Attack can be valuable in certain situations where I want to improve my chances to actually hit successfully. It could, for example, be the difference between killing or not killing a powerful enemy. Pushing Attack can be awesome if I simultaneously push someone off a high ground. This is quite circumstantial and rare to set up though, so overall not something I would pick here. Rally can of course make the difference in a particular situation, but overall I don't see this as a viable choice for the first picks. Riposte is incredibly interesting in my opinion, because it allows for an additional attack outside of my own turn. With a high armor class on my end, enemies usually do miss more often than they move away to allow for an opportunity attack. Riposte increases the chance to not waste the one reaction available per turn. A total of 4 superiority dice that replenish with a short rest also means this isn't something that only triggers once every long rest. Sweeping attack could be a good way of adding some area damage, especially if the weapon of choice doesn't come with it already. It only seems to do 1 to 8 damage though, without any weapon damage on top, which makes it less interesting for me. Trip attack can be a viable choice too, especially with multiple attacks being unlocked as I progress. Every attack following a successful trip would benefit from the prone status effect on the enemy. I personally choose Riposte here and then add Disarming Strike and Trip Attack for specific situations. At level 4, I can pick my first feat. Ability improvement could be a solid choice here by simply increasing strength 2 times, but before doing that, I first pick Great Weapon Master. This changes the playstyle a lot more by offering valuable bonuses that a flat strength increase would not. The first thing Great Weapon Master is good for is the additional bonus attack after a crit or a kill. Next is the damage increase on every successful hit. It has to be noted though that the damage bonus comes with a price. Every attack roll receives a -5 penalty, so it decreases the hit chance in general. The damage and penalty part of the feat can be toggled on and off though, so whenever the hit chance becomes too low, it can simply be deactivated. At level 5, I get a permanent extra attack. This improves combat efficiency a lot by ensuring at least 2 attacks each turn. At level 6, I get another feat already as a fighter. Here I choose ability improvement now and push my strength to 18. This improves both my attack and damage rolls, while also allowing me to jump further and carry more. At level 7, I get another superiority dice, allowing me to use maneuvers more often. I also get to pick 2 more maneuvers. My choices here are Goading Attack and Maneuvering Attack to flexibly help out an ally in need. At level 8, it is time for another feat. Again, this will be +2 strength to push my primary ability to the max. Bonuses to attack rolls, damage rolls, carrying capacity, and jump distance all at once is all around a great pick. At level 9, my saving throws are improved for better survivability by getting Indomitable. At level 10, all my superiority dice are upgraded, increasing the power of maneuvers. I also get to choose Precision Strike and Pushing Attack. At level 11, I get another extra attack. This makes 3 attacks each turn now, without using Action Surge, Haste, or anything else on top. At level 12, I pick 1 level of War Cleric to push the power level of this build even higher. Fighter 12 would grant me 1 more feat. This would be great as well, but the total bonus of the first level in War Cleric is just much more powerful. As a Cleric, the first thing to pick are 3 cantrips. Thaumaturgy isn't something I personally used so far, as other cantrips always seem to provide more value. Sacred Flame is a clear pick. It's good damage at range, and on top of that, it does not require any attack rolls, but a saving throw instead. So it excels against anything with low dexterity. Guidance is another clear pick for me. Ability checks play such an important role in the game, whether that is during dialogue or activities like lockpicking. Resistance can be useful in very specific situations, but I personally do not recommend it. Light is another cantrip I don't recommend. While darkness is something important to tackle in order to avoid penalties on attack rolls, for example, there are other options for that. Blade Ward is a solid pick on the other hand for the third cantrip. Its protection lasts for more than 1 turn as well. Produce Flame is also fine to take. Not only allows it to generate a light source out of nowhere, the flame that is created can also be thrown for damage or to ignite things like smoke powder barrels. So my personal picks here are Sacred Flame, Guidance, and Produce Flame. As a subclass, I pick War Domain here. War Cleric adds 2 spells to my arsenal. These spells do not have to be prepared by choosing them as part of my spellbook. They are available all the time. The first one is Divine Favor. This is a great option that lasts for multiple turns. It does require concentration though, so it cannot be combined with Shield of Fate, for example. Shield of Fate is also the second domain spell. While it says this is a better version of the spell that all clerics get access to, the only difference here is that it does not require any spellbook slot. It simply is always prepared. This can be a great alternative to Divine Favor, as it increases my survivability and is less spell slot costly by lasting until long rest rather than just 3 turns. Another important part of War Cleric at this level is War Priest. At level 1, I receive 3 War Priest charges that replenish with a long rest. Each charge can be used to use my bonus action for another attack whenever I did attack with my weapon already. This allows me to add a 4th attack to my 3 regular ones, even in times where Great Weapon Master didn't get triggered. Now the deity choice is up to personal preference. I picked Tempest here because he's the Lord of Battle and it just fits the overall theme of the build. In terms of spells, I first choose Guiding Bolt. While only having access to level 1 spell slots, I won't be able to upcast it, but it can still grant me advantage against enemies and does provide an alternative range attack option. My second pick here is Command, due to its overall versatility. To showcase the build a bit, I went solo into a tactician fight against 5 wolves at level 11 and 12. The wolves are further aided by a dozen critters. Before the fight, I already activated Shield of Faith to boost my armor class. I then run straight into the fight for a kill. The first wolf goes down in 3 hits. In order to decimate the enemies as much as possible early on, I activate Action Surge right away to get 3 more attacks this turn. One of my attacks misses, but the werewolf still dies, taking 2 of the 5 larger threats off the battlefield already. After all of the enemies got closer without anything major happening, it's my turn again already. First, I throw an Alchemist's Fire for some area damage to get rid of several critters. 2 of them die immediately, while the others should die from the fire trigger on their turn. I do still kill one of the rats though, to ensure I unlock the Great Weapon bonus attack. After missing 1 regular attack, I still deal lots of damage with that unlocked bonus attack. The last 3 rats die in the fire as expected shortly after, leaving me with 3 wolves and 3 bats to kill. I take a bit of damage from the bats, but get to deal a large hit to one of the werewolves with a riposte outside of my turn. Back in my own turn, I then kill both werewolves left, which more or less ends the fight here, leaving almost no real threats attacking me. My last hit this turn brings the wolf to half its HP already as well. The wolf then immediately dies right after when missing me and triggering riposte. Only 3 bats are left now. The bats deal a bit of damage but aren't any serious threat. Somehow I did fumble my cleave attack though, only killing 3 chairs and 0 bats. I then also failed to successfully kill one with my regular attack. As a result, I only get to kill 2 bats, the latter one by using a War Priest charge. I could also have used the Great Weapon Feat trigger here, but by now resource management isn't important anymore. The last bat then dies to riposte as well, which ends a fight that never really was difficult despite going in solo. I've had a ton of fun just running around hitting things several times each turn. It's a straightforward playstyle that doesn't hold back in terms of power level. So I really hope that some of you out there will enjoy the build as much as I did. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content like this. See you in Baldur's Gate 3.